Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we'll return with round 6 of our F124 driver career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. If you missed out on the video that went live a few days ago from Monte Carlo, Monaco, the jewel in the Formula 1 crown, go back, check it out. It was a pretty good one. It was quite chaotic. We had 2 red flags, 2 safety cars, pretty much everything that you could imagine happened did end up happening during that GP, but it has meant for the first time this season we have taken the lead at the top of the drivers' table. We have a 13-point buffer over Max Verstappen at the top there. George Russell still in P3 ahead of Alonso and Lance Stroll. Verstappen still yet to win a race this season, but Red Bull now, just through sheer consistency, are at the top of the Constructors' Championship as well. So yeah, as we cross over 1/3 distance of the campaign this weekend, it's safe to say we are really a championship threat this year. It's going to take a lot of consistency as the campaign goes on. We cannot falter, we cannot make any errors, but hopefully, yeah, we're going to be able to try and be in the fight for as long as possible. We've seen it before, though, in this game. Mercedes can often fall apart in the second half of a campaign, so hopefully that's not going to happen this season as well there. Get yourself subscribed if you're new. We're trying to hit 140k by the end of the year, and before I forget, we've got another secret meeting with Haas that the ex-girlfriend is ringing us once more. Well, this time round then, she's brought a couple of her friends to tell us how much she misses us and how much she wants us back. Like I said, I'm gonna keep talking to Haas for now. I think, you know, they are an interesting team. Obviously, we've got a lot of history with them. You know, obviously, if we win the championship this season, which I'm really not sure we will, then I will leave it up to you guys to vote for whether you'd like to see us go to Haas or to Sauber next season. But anyway, let's head on then into the Grand Prix.
It is time to go qualifying in Canada. A historic track. Looks simple, it's anything but. Welcome to Montreal.
Well, we've learned from the last couple of Grand Prix that this car thrives on the more high downforce circuits. Montreal is definitely not one of those, so yeah, this weekend might be a bit of a crash back down to reality for us. Hopefully, no actual crashing is going to be involved in this one. But yeah, Max Verstappen still hunting down his first victory of the campaign, despite the fact he's had, what, 2 pole positions? Might even be 3 now, early on this season, or he might be looking to try and get a 3rd today. Only time will tell here in qualifying. But yeah, I'm expecting this circuit to be quite a tough one for us. Lance Stroll, of course, last season went really well here as I make a complete hash of the chicane on the back straight. Look at that Canadian. Are we going to see Lance Stroll once again showcase that he is in the fight here in Montreal there as we try and put the power down on the exit of the hairpin? Verstappen, I mean, there's so many of them trading that lead at the front of the order, but it's still Lance Stroll as we make our way down into the Wall of Champion chicane. We're having an absolutely terrible lap at the moment, just is not coming together for us. As we navigate our way through, the Russell suddenly moves to the front of the order. Is it going to be George Russell again? Yes, it is. And for us, it is P15. That is terrible. Well, 4 cars covered by just 3/100ths of a second at the end of qualifying. But despite that, it's McLaren, after their horrendous weekend at Monaco, they get a front row lockout here in Montreal. Max Verstappen and Lance Stroll will line up on row 2. And it seems like whenever I have a bad qualifying, Hamilton nails it, or vice versa. Not a single weekend so far this year have we seen both Mercedes get a good job done. Admittedly, I'd say we throw away about 1/4 of a second down at the end of the back straight, but even then, that might have given us 1, maybe 2 extra spots. We just have not got the paces in this car today. But anything can happen in the Grand Prix, so hopefully we're going to move forward.
Lights Out in Canada is approaching at a venue where the island was built for the 1967 World's Fair. The world has gathered once again. Welcome to the Canadian Grand Prix. A 2.7 mile circuit peaking at around 190 miles per hour. There are 2 DRS zones, 14 turns, which conclude with the famous Wall of Champions, and many a car has found their race ending right there. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Ocon, Perez, Gasly, Tsunoda, Sainz, Fittipaldi, Ricciardo, Stroll, Firestarter, Iwasa, Albon, Behrman, Joe, and Frederick Vesti. That's it then. It's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race.
Well, here we are then, down on the grid, lining up in P15. Lance Stroll, I'm sure, will be gutted to be taking some grid penalties here, which might take him out of the fight for the win. But for the second time, I think in about 3 races, he's gone quicker than Alonso on Saturday afternoon. I mean, Alonso obviously still definitely in the title hunt, but seems like he's just dropped the ball ever so slightly after that mechanical failure last weekend, and obviously the DNF at Imola as well. The DNF at Monaco and the disappointment of Imola, even, I should say. But 35 laps ahead of us then here in Montreal. We just want to try and keep it clean and tidy, get as many points as we can. It's 5 red lights here on the grid, and it is lights out, and away we go there, trying to get the throttle down. Nice and tidy on the run in towards Turn 1. Look at that, we will find an avenue down the inside of both the Canadian and Daniel Ricciardo there through the first corner, making a little bit of contact with Enzo Fittipaldi off the exit that first turn. So, yeah, not really what I want to be doing with the young Brazilian there, but we'll all make it through without any damage. Gasly and Tsunoda, the 2 former V-Carb sparring partners, as Gasly locks up. It was Pierre that caused both of the roadblocks we saw last weekend in Monte Carlo. So yeah, here Gasly really not having a fun time out of things at the moment in that Haas. Just cannot figure out the balance, as I have no idea how we've got no front wing damage on this opening lap. The tiniest bit of contact with Perez back at Suzuka did it. Since then, it was like, yeah, we've been rather lucky with front wing damage there, as Stroll tried to have a look back past us down at the hairpin. Looks like McLaren even have held on to a 1-2 on this opening lap. Will it be George or will it be Lando, though? Lando Norris desperately needs a win to get his title hopes kind of ignited, and it is Lando Norris that leads the way at the end of lap 1. Well, I'm really not sure why we've struggled so much for pace this weekend. This circuit always had happy memories for us inside this game. Of course, we took our first win, I believe, with Haas here back in Season 2. I think we got our first podium with Haas here in Season 1 as well. But yeah, for some reason in this Mercedes, it just doesn't feel like we got any kind of performance out of it. I wonder if again it's to do with the weird gearing on these Mercedes engines inside F124. Oh, that's Ricciardo going. Just about spotted that one, and the Australian then, I think, is our first casualty of the afternoon. Is that car actually going bang? Didn't look like he had a puncture or anything. Yep, there we go.
Back up to racing speed. Come on.
Ricciardo, our first casualty out of the Grand Prix. That is a disappointing end. But I think what doesn't help is being straight line speed limited, especially when this is still a track notorious for the AI kind of staying in those DRS trains. Again, it works well for us when we had a good car in a straight line, when we could set it up and then just really try and cycle past cars. But, I mean, Pierre Gasly, though, still, we saw it on lap 1, we're seeing it now all over the road in that Haas car. He just has not found any confidence with it, and it has been a real shame, of course. They were so good last year, obviously fought for the win on a couple of occasions. Hulkenberg finally got his first ever F1 podium. Clearly felt that he'd done everything he wanted to in the sport. And yeah, they've really just taken a step backwards this year with Iwasa and Gasly at the helm. Down the inside. Oh, almost into the back of Fittipaldi there, but we'll make the move.
Nice overtake.
That was a big dive bomb, but a decisive one. Well, when we have a lack of straight line speed, our only real opportunity to make moves is going to have to be down into the hairpin. And again, we're going to send it in there down the inside of Enzo Fittipaldi. Almost caught him Emerson then. I'd be staggered if Emerson was still racing in Formula 1 there. But Ferrari seemed to be, I mean, even then, look at that. We're using battery And that Ferrari gets back around us there. Probably should have tried to keep the nose in, but we'll try and get the run off of the corner as well. Yeah, this might go to explain why we did so well at Monaco and Imola. So I'll look around the outside. Thank you very much. Well, Carlos Sainz has absolutely been a star so far this campaign. Scored points in every single race for VCAR. Whereas Daniel Ricciardo's only scored points last time out at Monaco. For now, though, I'm going to have to knock him out of the top 10. Every single move I do down there is seemingly more aggressive than the last, but we'll gain another place then out of it, and finally up inside the top 10 this afternoon, as will we see Carlos Sainz there able to hang on. No, he won't. So that was sent into the braking zone, but again, luckily we gather it up. Well, Yuki Tsunoda then has been another really strong performer so far in this campaign. But yeah, are we going to be able to relegate the Alpine down into 10th place there? Maybe try and leave him to battle with Carlos Sainz. And I mean, like I said, we've got no straight line speed, but how late we're able to break into the corners is second to none right now. Down the inside, round the outside. Either way we can make it work. What makes me nervous now is the fact I'm not in the range of Perez. I hate to steal another driver's quote, but I think Fernando Alonso, I know how he feels now, because this thing in a straight line, it's a GP2 engine, seriously. I mean, like I said, we get good oomph off the corners, but you get anywhere near top-end speed, the Red Bull in front is just walking away from us, despite the fact he's saving battery. Oh, luckily some battles going on, which is keeping us close to some of our championship rivals. There is Alonso, I think, locked into battle with Oscar Piastri. Our top three have gone.
Nice work. Still a long way to go, though.
So I think even best case scenario here, unless something wild happened, would only be a P4 finish. Look at Esteban Ocon all the way up there in 6th. Well, although I still believe Carlos Sainz should absolutely be given a go next to Max Verstappen over at Red Bull, you know, this season so far has proven why they still trust Checo in that seat, of course. Leading the Constructors' Championship, and that has pretty much been just through the consistency of both drivers. Of course, Sergio getting his first podium of the year last time out in Monaco. Don't think he's going to get another one here today, but as we go past him down at the hairpin, relegating him into 9th.
Nice move. Keep going.
He's just kind of been there or thereabouts all season. Never really better than Max, but also unlike IRL, never a million miles away, as Oscar Piastri and Alonso yet again go wheel to wheel through the final chicane. That's going to leave the Spaniard a bit vulnerable to his old French teammate back at Alpine.
Really good stuff.
Meanwhile, we're behind our teammate Lewis Hamilton. Not for long, though. I mean, look at that. How different are our setups on this car this weekend? He must have next to no downforce to be able to maintain the kind of speed he's got in the car. And, well, we haven't really battled with Lewis so far this year. To be honest, we've absolutely wiped the floor with him, which I was not expecting to do coming into the campaign, but a lot of bad luck for our teammates so far. Just has not really gelled. We'll be able to try and have a look at my favourite overtaking spot found at the hairpin. You can see again how much confidence we got on the brakes to really try and attack here. And are we going to be able to get close enough to him? Lewis is just starting to arc over defensively a little bit. Oh, not defensive enough though. As we get down the inside, we lock the rears slightly in the process. A little bit of contact with Esteban Ocon. Make sure we don't break the cardinal rule number 1 of Formula 1 racing there. And well, plenty of battery being used by the pair of us. And you can just see even Lewis has got top end speed over me. What is wrong with our engine today? We've got nothing. This is the other thing with everybody's performance so closely bunched up together with these new rules. It really does mean, even after a tough qualifying, we know we have still got some kind of performance in the car. It's Esteban Ocon. I'm allowed to go for a ridiculous dive bomb into the hairpin there, as he will try and return the favour on the exit of the corner. I mean, look at this then. Battery, ERS, DRS, everything. We get alongside the Frenchman, and then we can't do anything with it there, as I guess we can do that. Was not expecting him to let me by, but I guess we'll take it. Remember to P6. And yeah, Alonso, obviously disappointment last weekend. Not looking fantastic at the moment. He needs to get another win. But one of those McLarens is about to get screwed over. We finally reached the pit window in this Grand Prix. And well, the story so far this year has been just how powerful undercuts have been throughout most of our races.
We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach.
We are going to definitely be diving in at the end of this lap, so need to make sure that we're nice and safe on pit lane entry there. And it looks like Oscar Piastri really is able just to keep both Alonso and I at arm's length down the straights. Everybody else, though, in apart from, like I said, one of those McLarens, Hamilton will have to stay out there as well. Which McLaren then was given priority here? This will be really, really interesting to see, as we're all going to hold up Max Verstappen on the way in. Come on, let me go. We got the jump on the Ferrari.
Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that.
I mean, we've definitely exited the pit lane illegally. They're right into the path of Pierre Gasly, but Russell got first call then. But I think everybody's been held up a little bit. So this might not work out too badly for Lando Norris, who's still out there, as we'll go around the outside of Fred Vesti. Don't get to say hello to him today. But Alonso now, let's try and work his way back through. And I said how we might not have a shot at a podium. Pit strategy does change everything. But what I also love about Montreal is just how little time you lose by going through the pit lane here. Bit like Magny-Cours, for those of you that remember that. It was only like a 12-second delta loss or something ridiculous around that circuit. It's a little bit more than that here in Montreal. I think it's closer to about 15 seconds. So we make our way out of the pit lane, though Norris has been screwed over. So I think he got held up in the pits. Verstappen now comfortably out in front. Surely today is going to be the day he finally gets that first win of the year. But are we going to be able to hang with Russell? Well, I really don't know whether George Russell has got the pace over Verstappen right now.
Keep taking care of them.
But either way, yeah, we just want to try and hang on inside Russell's DRS. Otherwise, we're going to be vulnerable to Lando and Fernando again. We struggled just a little bit on the traction through the really low-speed corners. I think George is taking just a little bit of time out of Max each and every lap. I genuinely feel like we can stay here, but I'm not going to be able to attack George. So I've kind of just got to let him do his thing. We will set new fast lap of the day. Immediately, Alonso will ruin that. But yeah, I just kind of want to sit here and see if we can get in the fight for the win. Well, I had to employ a similar strategy in a My Team video we did a few weeks ago from Abu Dhabi. Lando Norris had the lead of the Grand Prix, and everyone was floating about 2-3 seconds behind him. So what I had to start doing was going past, I think it was Charles Leclerc in that race, using the DRS, and then hoping, of course, that Leclerc could get back around me the lap after, and of course just kind of using each other to kind of slingshot every time to get up to the leader. It did end up working for us, except for I think Lando still ended up taking the victory in that Grand Prix. So let's see if we can do that then with George Russell here. Around the outside we'll go.
5.2 seconds.
Not when I drive like that, it won't, as we will throw ourselves over the curbing through turn 1 and turn 2. And if anything, yeah, this is going to cost us time against Verstappen. I'm going to back out, and that plan has not worked. Again, Russell. Ugh. George Russell there just cannot put the power down through turn 2. And we are going to force our way through that turn round. I'm not going to wait around all day. I mean, I'm not convinced I can get him out of the DRS range there, but he's driving so inconsistently at the moment. Kind of just getting a bit fed up of trying to work with him there, as we've almost got him out of the range immediately. I mean, I'm not optimistic, but let's see if we can hunt down Verstappen. Well, that was scary. Not what we needed late on in the day. No, Russell and Norris as well as Alonso. Oh, man, how many times am I going to do that this season? It's when we get comfortable with this car. Things seem to go a little bit awry right towards the end of an afternoon there. And well, Verstappen, if we were going to be able to apply any pressure to him late on in this race, that certainly has gone out the window. And, well, now, I mean, Norris even and Russell have got to try and defend from an extra car as well towards the end of this. There's no doubt about it. George Russell is definitely off the pace in that McLaren. Like I said, I can only assume they've told Norris, hold station, keep Alonso at bay, and then, well, maybe they'll swap them on the last lap. And just as I thought our tyres were hanging on quite nicely, it seemed to have completely fallen off the cliff. Oh, Oh, well, I've got to try and move past Fernando as soon as I can if we want to still get a podium in this race. I'm sure Alonso won't be happy about that one, but we've made it work. We've kept it clean. And again, we've kind of got to lean into that this weekend. Again, the team are loving it as well. But yeah, let's see what's going on with these two McLaren cars. Are we potentially going to force them into each other? Will we see Norris finally just make the move past Russell? What on earth's going to happen? Well, it does still seem very early on in the year to be trying to call #1 drivers, but McLaren maybe have taken that choice with the team at the moment. You can see Lando Norris, he's just got no battery down this straight. We're going to really try and force him up to the gearbox of his teammate there. If he wants to defend this, he's going to have to try and get George to do a hurry up as well there. 2 laps to go of the Canadian Grand Prix then. Not enough to have a look past him down at turn 1. Can we have a look around the outside through turn 2? Again, just not able to there. And now you can see Norris having to get right up on the gearbox of his teammate here late on. Like I said, has this been orchestrated by McLaren to help a wounded George Russell? Will Norris be allowed just to try and move past him on the last lap of the Grand Prix if these other cars, they're able to keep at bay and obviously do it in such a way that means that Russell obviously won't lose out too much ground to other drivers as well. But whilst all this is going on, it looks like for the first time this year, we are going to see a non-Mercedes powered car take victory around what can only be described as a very power-dominated circuit. Red Bull and Max Verstappen, so much this season has gone against them, but they have been brutally consistent in the fight at the front of the order there. And as Max Verstappen starts the last lap then, he's even going to get to enjoy this one as well. He's under no pressure from the cars behind there, all battling each other. He's led going into the last lap on 2 separate occasions already this campaign, and neither time has walked away with the victory. But today looks like it's finally going to be his day. Can we try and look the right way around Lando Norris there through turn 2? Yes, we can. Get the power down on the exit of the corner there. And Norris, he has got no answer to us on this last lap. Will George Russell be able to do anything? Has he saved up some battery to try and defend this move in towards the final couple of corners here? It could end up being a drag race to the line. I'm going to try and save up as much charge as we can whilst remaining close enough to the former Mercedes driver, the man that used to drive this car. But Max Verstappen making his way through the hairpin one final time. Of course, he's taken victory here in Montreal before, both in 2022 and I believe in 2023 as well as 4. So yeah, Verstappen, he does love this venue as well there. But will George Russell be able to do anything out of the final chicane there? Max Verstappen, he is going to win the Canadian Grand Prix and finally get that first Grand Prix win of the year. Are we going to be able to move past George Russell? Yes, we do.
Yes, yes, come on, we're on the podium. Good job this weekend. That's a great drive. Thank you.
Heading to the top step once again, Max Verstappen takes the win.
What a great way to turn the situation around. And you know what they say, it's not about how you fall off the horse, it's about how you get back on it. And today, they've done a great job of turning the page and rectifying their wrongs.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they've secured here.
Well, there we are then. Max Verstappen, like we said, finally gets back on the top step of a Formula 1 podium for the first time since, well, I'm trying to remember, must have been late last season. I think it was the Portuguese Grand Prix in last year's campaign there. But Brits in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Myself beating out both McLarens on that last lap there. Fernando Alonso, the only man to dip under the 1 minute 10s in terms of lap time as well here today, gets himself 11 points for his troubles as well. Oscar Piastri, Esteban Ocon, Perez, Sainz and Lewis Hamilton will round out your top 10. And I tell you what, from 15th on the grid, yeah, I think we can be rightly quite proud of ourselves with how we drove in today's race. A lot of decisive moves, a fair few dive bombs as well thrown in there for good measure. But we made the overtakes where we needed to, and it means we walk away from this weekend still with a 6-point lead at the top of the table. Verstappen in P2 ahead of Russell and Alonso there. Perez now tied with Lance Stroll up in P5. Oscar Piastri not too far away, and still Lando Norris down in 8th place so far. I mean, he's got a lot of races still, but he is going to take a Herculean effort for him to get back in the fight there. V-Carbs rounding out your top 10 there ahead of Esteban Ocon and Enzo Fittipaldi. And then, yeah, Hamilton tied with Yuki Tsunoda. And with all these point-scoring opportunities for drivers, it's only now Iwasa and our 2 Kick Saubers that are yet to score this season. Constructors-wise, Mercedes now only 12 back from Aston Martin as well, so hopefully we can keep fighting them. Red Bull open up the buffer at the top of the table. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure I leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for the Spanish Grand Prix.